Well, it's great to be back at Bett and in London, and look forward to sharing some ideas with you. But I want to start by going back 20 years. So the year is 1999, 20 years ago, right when we were on the cusp of the new century, a new millennium. And since we were turning the calendar in that year, I went to some conferences where people were looking ahead at the hopes and visions and dreams for the next 100 years or 1,000 years, and also looking back at some of the great accomplishments and achievements of the past 1,000 years. And I was at one conference where it was somewhat like this, and I was on a panel where they asked us the following question. They asked us, what was the most important invention of the past 1,000 years? Now, of course, there were a lot of incredible inventions over the last 1,000 years, and some people on the panel mentioned the printing press. Certainly enabled people to share their ideas over great time and distance like never before. Other people pointed to the steam engine that ushered in the Industrial Revolution. Another panelist talked about the computer, invented towards the end of the last millennium, but obviously already having a huge impact. Now, certainly those were really important inventions, but as I thought about it, I had a different idea for the most important invention of the last 1,000 years. So I said the most important invention of the last 1,000 years was kindergarten. Now that might surprise some people, but most people don't think of kindergarten as an invention at all, let alone an important invention. But it was an invention. As about 200 years ago, the first kindergarten was invented by Friedrich Froebel in Germany, and it really was a major departure from the ways that young children grew up in the world. Before then, education was always focused on somebody standing, lecturing in front of some students who wrote things down on paper. And Froebel did not just invent a school for younger children. He realized that he had to rethink the approach to education and learning for younger children. So Froebel thought that for young children, it was really important to give them opportunities to explore and experiment and express themselves. He was a designer in addition to an educator. So he designed some new toys and tools for kids to play with. Some blocks and beads and tiles to let kids create their own structures and patterns and learn through those creative activities. And he saw that this was the way for young children to start learning. Now, if you look around today at some kindergartens, you'll see some of the latter-day descendants of Froebel's kindergarten. You'll see children building towers with blocks or Lego bricks, making pictures with finger paints and crayons. And of course, kids learn a lot in the process. When they make towers, they learn about structure and stability. When they make pictures with finger paint, they learn how colors mix together. But even more important, children in the traditional kindergarten are learning about the creative process. They're learning how to come up with an idea and then create something based on that idea and to share it with others, to get feedback, to continue to iterate and experiment and make changes to it. And that's how the creative process works. So the traditional kindergarten was a great way of helping kids develop as creative thinkers. And that's more important today than ever before, because we live in a society we all know is changing more rapidly than ever before. So the ability to think and act creatively is essential to success and happiness in today's society. The children need to be able to come up with innovative solutions to the unexpected and unpredictable situations which they will confront as they grow up. But unfortunately, after kindergarten, school tends to change. Kids spend a lot of time listening to lectures, filling out worksheets, and they don't continue to develop those creative capacities. And in fact, some of that is even seeping down into kindergarten. You go into a lot of kindergartens these days, and you see children filling out phonics worksheets or drilling on math flashcards. Too often, kindergarten is becoming like the rest of school. And what I want to argue for is exactly the reverse. We need to make the rest of school, in fact the rest of life, more like kindergarten. giving people a chance to continue to playfully create things in collaboration with one another as they do in kindergarten, but continue to do that throughout their whole lives so they can continue to develop as creative thinkers. Because I really believe that Froebel, in inventing the kindergarten 200 years ago, was inventing an approach to education which is ideally suited to the 21st century. Of course, he didn't realize that, but his ideas for kindergarten are exactly what we need to prepare children for a society where creative thinking is more important than ever before. So I call my group, my research group at the MIT Media Lab, the Lifelong Kindergarten Group, because we're thinking about how we can develop new technologies and activities and strategies to help children as they grow up to continue to work in a kindergarten style and develop as creative thinkers so they'll be ready for life in today's fast-changing society. So how can we extend this kindergarten approach? As we've thought about it, we've come up with 4 guiding principles for how we can support a kindergarten approach to learning. And those 4 principles, we sometimes call them the 4 P's of creative learning: projects, passion, peers, and play. That is, we're always trying to provide opportunities for students and children to actively work on projects that are based on their passions in collaboration with peers in a playful spirit. And if we develop technologies and activities aligned with these 4 Ps, I think we'll be in a good shape for helping children develop as creative thinkers. To give a better sense of this, let me show you a video that goes out of some of the work that we've done with the Lego company. We've had a great collaboration with the Lego company for more than 30 years now, and often we're applying these 4 Ps to the Lego construction materials and connecting it with new digital technologies and see how can we bring in new digital technologies that are aligned with these 4 Ps. So let me show a 1-minute video that shows a workshop that we ran using some computer-controlled Lego and kids working on creative activities.
The goal of these creative workshops is really to give children an opportunity to come up with their own ideas, imagine something, and then figure out how to design it.
We should still keep this place like
You need to be constantly exploring, experimenting.
Oh my God.
Natural discovery by testing things, by tinkering, by experimenting, by creating.
They're using Lego motors and sensors, and then if it doesn't work the way they want, they start revising it.
So you have to kind of adjust the motor power so they actually have enough power to knock the lights off.
So they're really learning through having a goal, imagining something, and then bringing it to life. So rather than just thinking of the computer of something that I think, what am I supposed to do? They start thinking, what do I want to do with it? They start getting new ideas.
So I think even in that short video, you can see some of the 4 Ps in action. The kids were not just following instructions step by step. They were working on projects. They came up with ideas. The theme of this workshop was a day in the park. So they're making amusement park rides and other types of activities for a park. And they're working on things based on their passions. They were choosing their own project ideas, playing them out over time. And you can see them constantly experimenting. And when things go wrong, it's not seen as a problem. That's what we see as the essence of play. Play is not just a matter of laughing and having fun. When we think of play as a type of approach and a style of engagement. It's not just an activity, but a way of interacting with the world where you're constantly experimenting, trying new things, taking risks. And you can see the kids doing that. They try something, it goes wrong, they make changes, try it again. That's a playful approach, and that's at the root of the creative process. So with everything we do in bringing kids these new technologies,